Hello, friends. Welcome to Fifth Road Tarot. I am here with your full moon, oh no, sorry, new moon and Virgo reading. Um, Depending on where you are in the world, the new moon will be um, coming. Here, let's clicking. The new moon will be appearing on September 16th or 17th. Again, that's depending on where you are in the world. So I'm releasing this on the morning of September 16th. Ah, this this doing the research for this new moon has been very interesting because it kind of reminds me of um, a little bit of the journey that I took early last year and a little late toward the end of the year last year. It feels like going into the depths and um, really going deep and owning the dark parts or the hidden shadow parts of the self that have been making an appearance lately. So I want to go ahead and get started. Hopefully, not take up too much time so I can get to the reading, but there were so many wonderful things. Um, so, again, this new moon is coming, depending on where you are, September 16th and 17th. As I was going through, of course, you all know that I am looking at astrology and tarot, and I'm concentrating on the moon because of my own calling. So, what I have looked at is Virgo, and one of the things that came up as I was doing this research, as I was doing this deep dive, and pulling all the pieces together, something came to me, and it was it was a saying that said, there are not many true crones in this world. And I say that to mean, I don't think that we have really uncovered the true power of the wise feminine, and that is the um, challenge that we are being brought forth with this Virgo new moon. So, with Virgo and the Hermit, I really go back to how I first connected with the Hermit card in tarot. To me, the Hermit instantly stood out as the the boat, like the when Persephone got the story of Persephone, and when Persephone got to the river Styx, and she was making that transition from the world of spring and summer and light, right? And she was being escorted or ferried over to the underworld, to Hades. And I think about how Persephone must have stood on the edge of that water, leaving behind her mother, leaving behind her, essentially her childhood, and moving very quickly into being a queen um, of a world that she had no idea about, right? And so, while that story is about Persephone, my focus is on the hermit, and the hermit to me sticks out as that ferry, the person that was operating the ferry that took Persephone across. Because it's one thing to stand on one precipice, or one precipice looking at the other, but it's another to own the space between, own that liminal space. Because even with the moon card and the high priestess card, which are also related to this reading that I'll get into in a little bit, this is about being in a liminal space and holding a liminal space, a space between, for someone who has never taken this journey before. Because, we talk a lot about in the spiritual community. I'm sure you've seen it. They talk a lot about the, light workers. And yes, I know there are some people out there that are like, it's energy work. It's all one. Yeah, I totally agree. What I'm talking about now is people who may not be thinking about it in this way. So I'm introducing the why. um, so with the, light workers, it's easy to say, oh, I'm holding this space in order for you to do the light work, right? But it's a harder thing to hold the space for someone to find and uncover the darker parts of themselves, to face those parts of themselves, to really go in and uncover um, what ultimately could be their true power. But they don't know it yet because going into the dark has always been taught to be something to be feared. Um, so um, the hermit in this situation, right? I don't see it so much as um, a masculine figure. I actually see the hermit as Hecate, who was also involved in the story of Persephone. Usually, sometimes her role is as the witch that helped, that saw how everything went down with Hades and the underworld with Persephone, and helped Demeter find Persephone. But other times, I've really connected with the idea of Hecate being that force that um, led Persephone into this underworld where she was queen. She went from being maiden to being queen. So, with that, very quickly, I want to read a little bit about um, Hecate and her interesting um, genealogy as a goddess. And you'll see why I'm reading more about this. But again, we're talking about that person that is now holding the space to do the work of the shadow, the work of the darkness, um, and basically uncovering the thing that we might be resisting or fearing. So, just wanted to read a few excerpts from Mysteries of the Dark Moon by Demetra George. Later traditions make Hecate the daughter of Zeus and Hera and reduce her power to only that of the underworld and the waning dark moon. The following tale was told to explain her descent to the underworld. Hecate incurred the wrath of her mother Hera by stealing a pot of rouge to give to Europa, a lover of Zeus's. She then fled to earth and hid in the house of a woman who had just given birth. Although Hecate was a patron of midwives, by these times contact with childbirth rendered a person impure. To wash away her stain, the Kabiri plunged her into the Archeron, a river of the underworld, where she then remained. As Prytania, invincible queen of the dead, Hecate became a wardress and conveyor of souls through the underworld. As goddess of magic and enchantments, she sent prophetic or demonic dreams to humankind. Her presence was felt at tombs and scenes of murders, where she presided over purifications and expiations. Like her namesake Kali in India, Hecate, as a funerary priestess, conducted her rites in charnel or burial grounds, assisting in liberating the souls of the newly dead. Hecate's prophetic character survived in Norway and Sweden as the old, hooded, wise conversation women who traveled about the farmlands and countryside foretelling the future. They were welcomed, fed, and given gifts. But with the coming of patriarchal dominion, the goddesses diminished in influence and grandeur. The medial powers of the wise crone were repressed, and later emerged as the patriarchy's twisted and tortured projections, now perceived as dangerous witchcraft and sorcery. The new, full, and dark phases of the triple moon goddess also reflected the three stages of a woman's life as Artemis the Virgin, Persephone the nymph, and Hecate the crone, and alternately as Persephone the daughter, Demeter the mother, and Hecate the grandmother. She was also part of the Queen of Heaven Trinity, and as the three phases of a woman's mating relationship consisted of Hebe the maiden, Hera the wife, and Hecate the widow. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you. And that is what I'm looking at when I look at Hecate. I instantly relate her to the Hermit card. And essentially, what this new moon is doing is guiding you into the darker parts of yourself to uncover the truth, to knock down any resistance that you might have to the thing that is going to give you the most glory. It is tapping into a wisdom that you might be scared of looking at. So how do we embody this energy of the crone, of the shadow of Hecate at this new moon? And I want you to ask yourself that question. What truth are you resisting? What harsh judgments are you condemning yourself to? Is it wisdom or is it victimizing? Because the other thing here is that when we think about the dark goddess as a whole, and we think about the process of her now coming back to life, do we think it was an accident that she was left out and the patriarchy took over? And now it's this dualistic society of matriarchy and patriarchy, when it really should just be one, right? Do you think it's any kind of a coincidence that the patriarchy was just able to take over? I think it's something that Demetra George mentions in that book is she was not a victim. She stepped back because that is part of the cycle of rebirth, um, death, death, birth, and regeneration. The three cycles, right? And of course, those three cycles again are embodied in the spirit of Hecate, in the spirit of the Hermit card. So, the dark goddess is not a victim. Try not to be too harsh on yourself. What does non resistance to that truth, non resistance to looking at your shadow, feel like in your body? Can you digest it? Because Virgo is about being able to digest, being able to digest that truth and move through that part of yourself in your body. Are you able to digest this truth and know it as yours and own it as yours? Again, without victimizing yourself and without being harsh on yourself, but just accepting the truth. So with this new moon, we also have the high priestess making an appearance. And this, when we, of course, again, thinking of the high priestess and Hecate and the energy that goes between them, this new moon and the high priestess energy, you're being initiated into your darkness. And this is where you begin your powerful journey as a wise feminine nature of God. Let the truth of that, of your powerful journey and being the wise feminine, fill you and feed you so that no other may come before you. Let the truth be. And let your darkness be the truth. Be able to digest and move with that. Okay, and with that said, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the space to do the new moon reading. Okay. So what cards would I use today? I'm going to use the Rider-Waite today. Okay. So of course I have my dark moon candle and my Virgo candle here. We're still in the month of Virgo. So the sun is in Virgo and the moon, the new moon is now in Virgo. So it's really kind of um, this mystical, like getting it right. And of course, we've got the high priestess and the hermit as guides and teachers filled with knowledge. Um, so know that whatever you uncover in this darkness um, is there to help and guide you. Okay, I call on my divine masters and teachers. I call on my ascended, enlightened ancestors, and I call on the spirit of the elements of air, fire, water, and earth, and especially the spirit of the fifth element that combines them all, the nature of unity, the nature of oneness. Thank you so much, Spirit. Just one second, my air conditioning just kicked on. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Thank you so much, Spirit. Okay, you know what? No, I'm not gonna go ahead and ask for some cards for the new moon in Virgo 2020. Spirit, can you give us some cards for the new moon in Virgo 2020 for the collective spirit? Do you want to come out? Yeah? Okay. Can you give us some cards for the collective for the new moon? Thank you, Spirit. Wow. New moon in Virgo. Yep. Wow. Okay. Here we are. So let's get this all laid out. I don't know why I wanted to come out like that. Let's see. Okay, so first up, we have the King of Cups. We have the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Lovers. We have the Devil, the Fool card, the Nine of Cups, and the King of Swords. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups. Interesting. So overall, I do feel that this reading is possibly you looking at some aspect of your childhood, you as a child, or something in your past. But let me see here. I see a lot of masculine, mature masculine energy coming through here. But I also see something that was once fulfilling. You're probably seeing the shadow side of it. So let me go through one by one and really let's look at the story of this new moon in Virgo reading and what this reading can do, hopefully, to help guide you in setting an intention for this new moon. So the King of Cups, I'm going to set this up so you can see. Make sure it's in the light there. So this King of Cups, um, I see this as someone in relationship, someone who is, well, I believe this is the husband card, someone who's a father. It could be someone's father or husband, but someone who is very compassionate, very understanding, very giving. Could also be someone who is an advisor of sorts that you could be dealing with. It could also be your masculine side coming forward in this reading, mature emotion, mature emotion. The Ten of Pentacles. This is about being fulfilled at a very material level. You have everything you need and you have enough to sustain all that you need. This is also about the earth, and it's a completion of a certain point of the pentacles, because the next pentacle in this group would be the Page of Pentacles, and that would be getting a message of moving forward. But right now it looks as if you're very comfortable where you are. You're very relaxed where you are, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So now we have the Lovers. The Lovers card is usually exactly what it looks like. This is about two people coming together. This could be a new relationship, but this could also be that there is a decision being made about a relationship. I believe the Lovers card is Gemini. Let's see. And I don't, no shame, I will take out my helper cards because, I want to be correct about the astrology and also give you um, a meaning that will help you maybe think and piece things together for yourself. So this is about choice or possibilities. This could also be about love and sexuality. It could be that all of these things are combined to make you very happy. And it could even be a marriage without a ritual. This could be a partnership, very deep partnership. So yeah, this also could be about choices, because this is a Gemini card. Of course, Gemini is the twins. So it could be you're making a decision about this life that you have, or you're reaching a decision about what you want. All right. So now let's take a look at this Devil card, because side by side, right, the Lovers and the Devil card, it's pretty much the same card, but instead of an angel, we now have the devil, and instead of there being free and ample space between, there is now this chain linking them both, and there's no escape because the devil is sitting on top of that stone. With this card, this can be a card of it's almost because it's showing up next to the Lovers card, I feel like it's almost like a mirror. And there's something that's coming up that's toxic about the decision that needs to be made. And it could be that there's a mirror here. It's almost as if you're looking at your relationship in a mirror. and you're trying to, no, you're not trying to see anything, but something is being mirrored back that you may need to now take ownership of. Um, because a lot of people see the devil card and they get a little scared, um, because, a lot of people want to think of themselves as, oh, I don't do any wrong. But of course, this Virgo new moon is calling for us to actually look at this, to look at this devil card, to look at, um, not so much even our relationship, but wow. So as I was saying that, I heard in the back of my head, remember, there's no duality. And that is what is being shown here, is the separation of these two, there's one male, one female, but we can see now there's a clear separation of the two when there should be a oneness that allows us to be this whole free person, um, without any separation, right? Because here, yes, we see separation as far as terms of space, but here it's almost as if we have no choice but to be linked together. And so there should always be a free space between you as a whole person and another person as a whole person. And it's almost as if you're getting down to the roots of that and understanding what it is to be a whole person in a true relationship. So instead of looking in the mirror and seeing a relationship as being something that is toxic, or you're trying to place blame outside of yourself, look inside of yourself first, and ask yourself, am I whole? Am I whole enough of a person to maintain this status of the lovers, or in the lovers card? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Even if you just know that this lives in you, this separateness, this non acceptance of a part of yourself exists in you. It brings forward that superpower that we're talking about, that, the thing that we are resisting seeing about ourselves and about our relationships. And knowing that information brings us into the Fool energy. And the Fool is now like, I am renewed. I am whole. I am going on a new journey, into whatever, because I can now face and have the darkness and the light. I am whole in the energy of the Fool. Now, with the Fool, yeah, I'm going to pull out my helper cards because I want to give you some key words. With the Fool card, let's see. The Fool. This is breaking rigid psychological rules and putting yourself in a beginner's mind. This is also the card of Uranus, the planet Uranus. And because of that, so I see this Nine of Cups, right? I see this Nine of Cups as, of course, we started off as the King of Cups, right? I see this Nine of Cups as almost the same as the Nine of Pentacles, except with the Cups suite. We are looking at emotions. We're looking at spiritual fulfillment. We're looking at almost a level of wholeness in this Nine of Cups. Independent oneness, spiritual oneness, and togetherness inside of ourselves. But so much so that we are prepared. We're very much prepared and ready for someone else to come with that 10th cup and say, here you are. Here you are. And even if they never came with that 10th cup, you'd still be all right because you've got 9. And then we have this King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords, Sword Suite, is about communication. It's also about a very passionate and mature energy, someone who is ready to take action, but deliver the words first. And it's funny that we end on the King of Swords as a mature air energy. Interesting. Because I always see this as someone who is ready to go into battle, ready to move things around, ready to send a message of greatness. And it could also be, you know what, in this, I feel this is you owning your power, your own personal power. And it's in your voice now. It's in your voice, it's in your throat. Wow. And I see in your throat, because I'm looking at the King of Swords in his blue robe, and I see this communication. You are owning your truth and you're speaking about it, and it's matured, and people around you are noticing that. And you've gone from someone who has this depth of compassion in yourself to someone who can now speak about it. And of course, at the bottom of the deck is this Six of Cups. This is about looking deeply at your childhood, looking deeply at your inner self, at the smaller you. This is also indicating doing shadow work. And I don't know if I talked about that when I was giving the introductory notes, but facing that darkness and doing that kind of work, there's light work and there's shadow work, the work of the darkness, of holding the space of the darkness so that you can heal yourself. This is a card of healing the parts of yourself that might have been unattended to as a child. Wow. Okay, so let's see. I want to give some guidance, but I actually, I'll leave it on the note of a poem that I found. And I've actually been taking a course from this poet for the last couple of Sundays, but the book is called Dancing in the Flames, The Dark Goddess and the Transformation of Consciousness by Marion, Woodman, and Elinor Dickson. But the poem is by David White. And Marion Woodman, who's an amazing Jungian analyst. If you're into Carl Jung, if you're into dream work, if you're into that kind of thing, I highly recommend reading her work because she talks a lot about the dark feminine and the feminine consciousness. But let's see. She prefaces this poem with the paragraph. Being the consciousness in matter, the unifying light in creation, the goddess symbolizes the energy we need to become whole, to proceed toward consciousness. This is not an easy task for ego consciousness to pursue because all change, all growth, presupposes the death of the old. It is for this reason that Kali is represented as dancing in the cremation grounds, or the Daikini as dancing on a corpse. This is also the reason we fear such images as the goddess wielding her curved sword. The essence of the journey and the true nature of the sword of the goddess have been captured in a poem by David White entitled No One Told Me. And again, this is that past, I see that in this past life energy, this looking at your smaller self and being initiated and being guided into this newness, into this new darkness, into this thing that you don't understand because no one told me, right? Let me get into it. No one told me. No one told me it would lead to this. No one said there would be secrets I would not want to know. No one told me about seeing. Seeing brought me loss and a darkness I could not hold. No one told me about writing or speaking. Speaking and writing poetry, I unsheathed the sharp edge of experience that led me here. No one told me it could not be put away. I was told once, only in a whisper, the blade is so sharp it cuts things together, not apart. This is no comfort. My future is full of blood from being blindfolded, hands outstretched, feeling away along its firm edge. And she transitions into something else by saying that the feminine leads us to the sharp edge of experience. There we have to feel our feelings in our bodies. There our secrets become visible in the darkened, unvisited corners of our psyches. Claiming the unswept corners of our psyches leads us to compassion for ourselves and for others. Knowing that we have done our best and it simply wasn't enough opens our hearts to other human beings whose best has likewise failed. The mind has its logic. The heart alone can know wisdom, bridge chasms, and make peace. So I will leave you on that note. I hope you have enjoyed this reading and gotten something out of it for your new moon intentions. I wish you well, and I actually believe we have a transition coming up. We're moving into a new season. So I will likely share a little bit more about that on our weekly reading on next weekend. All right, namaste. Peace and blessings to all of you. And I hope you are doing amazing on your journey to complete oneness and wellness. Thank you so much. Bye.